lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I wanted to let you know it is brought to you by Denim. As a business owner myself, I personally know the importance of financial stability and preserving cash flow to help navigate through any freight market. With Denim's comprehensive service offering, you now have an all-in-one financial partner whose platform includes factoring, payments, freight audit, document collection management, and analytics, which help keep your business financially healthy and increase your team's time to focus on revenue-producing activities. You can also take advantage of Denim's free credit check, which they perform on all of your customers. And Denim will proactively reach out to you if they spot any signs of credit deterioration. Finally, Denim always pays your carriers first. As a broker, this is imperative to preserving your credit score in the market, which ultimately helps you become a broker of choice to your carrier partners. Are you ready to learn more? Visit denim.com to schedule a demo today. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. We got a solo show today, ladies and gentlemen. I normally have guests that are coming on out there, but I like to try and keep one day a week for just a solo show, so I can kind of tackle some topics that are going on out there in the industry and what people can actually do with this, right? So, today we're going to be talking about, give me just one moment here. We are going to be talking about how I actually prospect shippers, and then what questions do I ask them. So we're going to go through this right now. Again, a lot of why I'm going to be doing a lot of these solo shows, you guys, and I was just literally talking to somebody about this yesterday, is there's so many air quotes courses out there that people try and set people up with that don't actually teach them anything. And then furthermore, there's a large group of people out there who want to get into freight, but don't necessarily know what to say in these situations, and they can't afford a course, or they can't afford anything like that. And that's why this podcast exists, is it's just to teach people what to do out there in the industry. All right. And that's why I talk to, trucking companies, fleets, owner operators, brokers, tech companies, insurance, all of that stuff. We talk about all of that on here. So you don't have to pay for a course. But you need to, but you also kind of get that assurance that, like, hey, these guys are actually in the industry. These guys are actually doing this work. There's no theory on here. There's no fake social media posts talking about all this, quote unquote success that's out there. This is real strategies that we're applying day in and day out inside of my company. And we're seeing success with that, as well as a lot of my guests and what they see out there. I mean, like when I, yesterday with Chris Brewer, for example, he was on the show. He runs a very successful freight brokerage and trucking company. All right. He has a fleet of trucks. He's got a freight brokerage, and everything that he talks about and talked about on yesterday's episode, that's what he actually applies in his business, you guys. And he does, you can go look up River City Logistics. They'll tell you everything that you need to know about them. But yeah, so today though, we're going to talk about how I prospect shippers and what questions that I ask them. Dennis Everett, my man, good morning to you, sir. Dennis, I owe you a text, man. We got to get you on the show here soon. We got to get that date locked in. Corey Buchan, happy hump day. He's also over on YouTube, you guys, because I go live on YouTube every single weekday as well, LinkedIn, and then yeah, those are the platforms that we go live on. But I'm trying to get everybody over to YouTube because YouTube stream quality is exponentially better. And I've never been told by anybody who watches on YouTube that hey, we can't find your stream, because that seems to happen on LinkedIn way more times than I'm proud to admit. But all right, Sonny Sharma, what is up? Good morning to you, orange shirt gang in the house. All right, so what do I do to prospect shippers? And I'm going to walk through this on a step-by-step basis here on how I do this. Clark Morning, my Badger friend. What is going on out there? Nick Erdman, good morning. He's over on YouTube. All right, so, we were talking about this yesterday, and here's something that I utilize, because yes, I pay for lead generation software, but I also utilize Google, that nice little company out there that's kind of free and kind of shows you everything that you need to know about places. But I utilize Google for my lead generation as well, because a lot of the leads that we get from the software that we pay for, it spits out a bunch of information, but then we'll go to some of these areas on Google and we'll check them out and see, like, hey, what other businesses are in that industrial park or in that area that didn't show up on this list, and we can use them as well and go after them. But I said, I use an Excel spreadsheet. This is the literal format that I use. Okay, this is the literal format that I use to build up my lead lists on, so I can track a lot of this stuff. No, I don't want to use a CRM, so please, I don't need you to sell me on that. This is just from a comfort perspective. This is what I like to use, and my lead generation software auto-populates into an Excel spreadsheet for me. So this is what I'm going to stay in. But I break it down like this. Company name, pretty simple. Contact name, title, email address, company phone number, company location, and website. This is the all the information that I track out there. And then I go and I just kind of fill this out as I go, right? Because, you're going to call this company. You're not going to know who you're talking with, right? So like yesterday, for example, I cold called a manufacturer, and then I asked him, like, hey, this is who I am. I want to speak to the person who handles your transportation or logistics. And then they're like, oh, cool. You got to talk to, what was his name? Luke. But Luke is currently at lunch right now. If you want, you can just send him an email, and then you could probably establish contact with him at that time. I'm like, that sounds phenomenal. So I got, I just filled it out. I said ABC shipper, and then the contact's name was Luke. I didn't get his full name or his title, but, it was Luke at abcshipper.com. Company phone, 555-555-5555. And then we'll just say this one was in Nashville, Tennessee. This is all hypothetical, you guys. And, www.abcshipper.com is how I filled that out. And then from there, I have notes in here as well. And then I will say spoke with reception. And I went to public school, so there might be some spelling errors in there. Spoke with, I'm sorry. I always get their name. So we'll say Kathy in reception. And then Kathy said email Luke. Email sent 8:20. And that is how I personally track all of my stuff, all of my progress out there. I do that, and I go down there all the time. I'll go through my list of leads, or I'll go out there and I'll fill this out, and then I will put this in there. And then again, you might not have the ability to pay for lead generation software, but go and get an Excel or Microsoft Office. I'm not affiliated with them, but this is just what I use. And I know a lot of people are. You can also use a Google document, because Google documents they might be free. I don't know if you have a G Suite account, but that might be free for you on there, or it might be free entirely, but you can use a Google document. The main thing is here, you guys, is you want to track this stuff. All right. You want to track their progress. You want to track who you're talking to, the last conversation, because realistically, I'm going to send Luke that email with just a company profile. Hey, here's who we are. This is what we specialize in. I'd love an opportunity to speak with you. Realistically, though, Luke's not going to respond to that email. But in 2 weeks, I'm going to call back and I'm going to say, hey, Kathy, this is Chris with Freight Coach Logistics. We spoke on the 20th. You told me to email Luke, and I was just reaching back out to see if Luke was available. And then maybe at this time, Kathy might be like, you know what? Luke is available. Let me transfer you through. And then from there, I'm going to say, hey, Luke, this is Chris Jolly with Freight Coach Logistics. I was just calling to reach out and introduce ourselves. And then I'm going to try and establish rapport from that point forward, because the first point of contact doesn't necessarily matter, because like I didn't hear back from them. So I have to go in with that mindset of like, hey, I'm just literally introducing myself. You could possibly throw in there like, hey man, this is Chris with Freight Coach Logistics. I emailed you back on the 20th of August, and I was just reaching out to try and establish ourselves here, over the phone, build up some familiarity, whatever you want to say in that situation. But again, realistically, they saw the email. No, don't bring it up that, hey, did you see it? I don't believe in that at all. I want to kind of walk them down my little system. But again, it's about establishing that point of contact. It's about establishing that to where it's like, hey, here's who we are and this is what we do. So again, I use an Excel spreadsheet. You can use Google on any of a Google document on any of that stuff. But most importantly, you guys, you can track this. And again, and a Microsoft Office membership costs you like $100. All right. And I'm pretty sure you get a Microsoft 365 email with that as well. So, to kind of take it back, if you're out there starting on your own, there's this, most people go with Gmail because Gmail's free. But for a very nominal fee, I utilize, who is it? I forget the name of the company that I use for the email. But I have a G Suites account, excuse me, but I use, hold on, let me look at my GoDaddy, excuse me. I use GoDaddy as my web domain. So I went out there and I purchased my web domain, and it was like, $100 or $20. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate that, man. Public school education here. But yeah, I went to GoDaddy and I bought my website, my web domain from there. And then if you have a Microsoft 365 account, then you can just get a, www.thefreightcoach.com, because that's my website. You can go there to subscribe to the newsletter if you want. But no, my email address is chris@thefreightcoach.com. And I got that through GoDaddy. I have a G Suite account. And I think that my G Suite with me and my marketing guy, Christian, who's on my team here, I think I pay like $30 a month for that. And then I think my web domain equals out to like, I don't know, 25, I think it was like $50 for the year or something like that. Cause ironically, the Freight Coach wasn't a very sought after web domain back in the day. So, from that, if you break it down on a month by month basis, you can pay for all of that for less than $500 in a year. And what that does though, is it increases your credibility out there, right? Because like as somebody who's bootstrapped their business and I understand the very much necessity in managing your expenses, but instead of going out there and spending $3,000 on some bullshit course that isn't going to teach you anything, you need to get your business in line and actually make it look like a real business. And you can go out there, and then even through GoDaddy, they have a website builder that you can go in and you can invest that time in it yourself to put together a basic website together. But again, chris@thefreightcoach.com, it looks a lot more appealing to all of your prospects than cjollyfreight@gmail.com. You know what I mean? There's a big difference out there, and it doesn't cost you a lot of money. So I would look into that. And I'm almost sure, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty certain that if you have a Microsoft Office subscription, which mine is $100 for the year, I'm pretty sure you get a Microsoft Office 365 email with that. So you don't even need to have a G Suite account. at that point. You can just create it all through Microsoft Office and have your 365, and then boom, you're saving a little bit of money out there like that. I like G Suites more than Microsoft 365. So that's just my personal thing. Yes, Dennis, and it's tax deductible as well. Coming through. Dennis coming through with the money there. So again, I would look into that, you guys, because as you're going on out there, and then again, you can go to like Vistaprint and get cheap business cards made for like, 30 to $100 as well. And, you put your, thefreightcoach.com, all of that shit. It just looks so much more official out there. And, it's going to save that awkwardness of, because I experienced this, like, oh, you have a Gmail? Like that's been said to me. And it's kind of like, and shit, I didn't know, right? Like I didn't know what that was. But, from here we are, I was in that situation where, I learned the hard way. So I got all of that done. But that's what I would do before I would go out there and even start prospecting. Get all of your back office stuff in line. I would also put together a PDF document, or, maybe it's a Microsoft Word document, because you have the Microsoft Word subscription that comes along with your office, and put together just like a brief overview or a company snapshot or a little flyer, whatever you want. And then maybe you can start attaching that to some of your emails and stuff like that. Again, these are just little quick things, you guys, that might cost you a weekend of your time. And you can go out there and format all of that stuff. I just think that just looks a lot more official than just going on and kind of email blasting. But I would definitely start there. But Clark says, I would love to hear a cold call and how I structure it. Here's exactly what I say, man. I'm going to do this as soon as I'm done with this show. I'm going to be doing my cold calls for the day. The way that I structure out my day is I send my sales emails in the right when I get in. I follow up with all my active shipments. And then I reach out to my current customers first. Then I switch over to new business development after I do my live show. But it's as simple as this. I'm going to call here. You know what? Let's go a little bit further here with this. And we are going to do, I'm just going to pull up a random shipper, and hopefully they don't get upset with me. I want to be abundantly clear. I am not affiliated with, or am I prospecting this customer? Here, let me try and present my screen, and I'm going to show you how I use Google out there. StreamYard, where we go? Where are we at here? Screen 2? Nope. Screen 1. There we go. All right, can you guys see that? Perfect. We are going to go cheese manufacturer, Wisconsin. Klondike Cheese Factory. We're just going to go with these guys right now. And this is not me being associated with Klondike. I'm not going to even call them. So if anybody, this is just all a hypothetical example here, you guys. So what I started doing is I started setting a timer on my phone for 1.5 minutes from when I click on this to start doing my research out there. And I do that. I set 1.5 minutes on my phone because otherwise I start to get paralysis analysis. I start looking around way too much. So I'm like, all right, perfect. They're Klondike Cheese. They're outside of Janesville, southern Wisconsin. One thing I like to do, I'm just going to go to their website. They are a manufacturer out here, as you can see, cheese manufacturer. I'm going to go to their website now. All right, they got a decent sized building here. I'm going to go to their products quick. And then here we see they got feta cheese, Greek yogurt, and dips. Munster, Havarti, so good. I'm a Wisconsin guy though. So, and then about us, I want to go on there. I just want to do a little bit of research about the company. This is clearly family owned, been in there for a long time. All right, perfect. So I got everything I need to give them a call. So we're going to go in here. I'll even look at this, check out some of these photos. They got one loading dock, it looks like. They got a staging area if need be, shipping and receiving. Boom. This is everything that you need right here. And this was all of 30 seconds, or excuse me, not 30 seconds, but you guys get what I mean. So I'm going to call them there. And then, hopefully a reception answers the phone. And I'm going to say, hey, my name is Chris Jolly, and I was just hoping to speak to somebody who handles your transportation or logistics, please. And I say this every single time, and they're going to be like, what is this about? And I'm going to say, oh, I'm just actually calling to introduce ourselves. We're a third-party freight broker, and we specialize in full truckload food grade transportation. And they're going to be like, all right, cool. So then they're going to transfer me through. And then we're just going to say hypothetically here that they answer the phone. Tim is the shipping manager there. All right. So I'm going to answer. They're going to, hello. I'll be like, hey, Tim, this is Chris Jolly. I'm the founder of Freight Coach Logistics. We're a third-party freight broker. We specialize in full truckload food-grade transportation. And I was just calling to introduce ourselves and see if there's some synergies between how we operate and what you guys might look for in a service provider. And then, generally speaking, they're going to, say, hey, you know what, man, we're just not really busy right now, or, we're not busy right now, or we're not adding any new providers. This is a very common one. And I will say, hey, I completely understand that. When's a good time for me to call you back though? Can I call you in October? And then he'll probably, more times than not, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's fine. Be like, how about October 10th at 10 a.m.? I want to be direct in this situation, because if they're going to kind of push you off the phone right away, but they're going to agree to a future call, perfect. So we're going to get that. And then I'm going to mark that in my little Excel spreadsheet that I had showed you under the 10th. Spoke with Tim. He said to call him back on October 10th at 10 a.m. And that's when I'm going to follow up. I'm not going to blow up their email address, or I'm not going to ask for their email at that time, because I'm not going to blow them up. All right. And I don't want to give off that approach of we're just going to start emailing them capacity every 5 minutes. I don't want to do that. I want to be respectful of their wishes in that moment. But I'm going to ask them. So say, we get transferred through here, and then Tim answers the phone, and I'm going to say, hey, my name is Chris Jolly. I'm the founder of Freight Coach Logistics. We're a third-party freight broker that specializes in full truckload food grade transportation. I was just calling to introduce ourselves and see if there's some synergies between how we operate and what you guys look for in a service provider. Perfect world scenario. Tim says, yeah, what synergies are we talking about? How do you guys perform? And I'm going to say, hey, Tim, I just got a quick question from you guys. Are you guys shipping your own private label into major grocery distribution centers? Are you guys going, LTL? What does that look like? Because I want to identify how much full truckload they have, right? Because if they're 98% LTL, I want to know, because I don't do LTL, right? I do full truckload. And I want to put out a question that says that. So for me, I'm going to find that out. And then I'm going to ask them, hey, do you guys manufacture everything on site there and ship out from there? Or do you guys utilize a co-packer that's regionally based, that's near your distribution, your customers' distribution centers? I want to talk about their operations. And that's where it's like, it's more of I'd call it an icebreaker than anything, to show that, hey, I actually know what I'm talking about here. And I'm not just calling you for the sake of calling you. And now this is completely interchangeable between any commodity that you're going after. So say you specialize in open deck, right? And you want to call a pipe manufacturer that's going on out there. I would ask them the exact same thing. If interject this, hey, we specialize in full truckload open deck transportation. Synergies to see how we're operating, what you're looking for. Then from there, if the perfect world scenario, Tim says, yeah, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, Tim, are you guys manufacturing all your pipe on site there? And then do you guys go direct to job site from there? Do you guys go direct to staging yards, or do you go direct to retail customers? And I want to find that out as well. But again, it's all full truckload based. I want to really gather that information out. And I never, ever mention, can I quote on your freight? The very first time I reach out. Some people have a different school of thought on that. I don't believe in it, and I'm not going to do it because I don't want to push. And I've just been given a lot of feedback here lately from a lot of my prospects on how grateful they are that I wasn't pushy. And again, the first call, I'm really qualifying them. That's a lot of what I'm doing in these instances, because I don't have a qualification department or, whatever. I am the business development department. And it is going to, what we are going to do is, I'm qualifying them to make sure that A, they have full truckloads, B, that they work with brokers. Because again, I know that they're going to throw asset only out there. But if they tell me that they're asset only, that gives me hey, I'll just follow up with them in a couple of months. But I want to try and find out as much as I possibly can, because we really got like 30 seconds, right? We got 30 to 45 seconds to kind of put our piece out there for the first couple of times that we talk. So I would do all of that as I'm going through there, man. So that's really what I say on a cold call, how I structure it. And again, I'm just trying to get a little bit of information out of them every time, because the reality is most shippers are not going to give you anything to bid on right away at all. It's actually very off-putting to do that. And I think that we need to go in there and we need to have we need to go in there with a plan. We need to have actual questions about their operations and not go in there and just say, "Hey, let me bid on your freight. Let me bid on your freight." And if you were a trucking company, say you're an owner operator, for example, I would just call them, say I had a reefer, say I was calling that cheese place. I would let them know, "Hey, Tim, I'm Chris Jolly. I own Chris Jolly Trucking. I'm an owner operator. I'm just looking at, we have a 53-foot reefer. We specialize in food grade transportation. I'm just looking to introduce myself to every local shipper that is in my area. I'm just based over here in Janesville. I'm 35 miles away from your facility, and I would love to possibly swing by and introduce myself." That's what I would do. And that's kind of a bulk of what we're doing here right now as well, is as all of my leads, and no, I'm not going to show you guys all of who I'm going after, but all of my leads here in Phoenix that I call, I'm just trying to stop by and introduce myself. That's my whole thing. Hey, my name is Chris Jolly. I'm the founder of Freight Coach Logistics. I'm just located over here in Chandler, Arizona. I was just wondering if I could stop by tomorrow, drop off a business card, possibly speak to the person who handles your guys' transportation or logistics. Very much a non-committal style thing. Again, I'm a local business owner. I just want to introduce myself. And you have to do that. And whether you're a sales rep or not, I would want to get out there and see as many people that I possibly can. And I truly think that that is what a lot of us need to do out there. So, from my perspective, that's really how I kind of tackle and handle all of this stuff from a bit. And I know this is kind of a crash course out there, but any one of you who are watching this or listening to this on the replay, if you're listening to this on the replay later on, just go to my YouTube channel, The Freight Coach. You can see the structure of it, how I assessed that company and got all of that, the video replay, and you guys can start applying this. Again, you can plug and play any of this information, okay? Whether it's flatbed, dry van, reefer. I would not do this for over-dimensional freight, just throwing that out there because it's a little bit more complex than that. But again, if this is your standard full truckload freight, you guys, this is completely interchangeable. If you're an owner-operator, you can use all of this stuff, right? Use all of this stuff, whether you're an owner-operator, freight broker, whatever it is. This is all plug-and-play information, you guys, and you don't have to sign up for a course. You guys can just tune into this show every single weekday. And again, from a pricing perspective, you guys, because I get asked that a lot, I use green screens for literally everything. I got a driver getting loaded right now, and the rate was $7 off. All right. Green screen said $862 is what I was going to pay, and I ended up paying like $8.7. I don't got to look, but it was $7 off. It was either $850 or $870 what we paid on it, but it was legitimately within $7. All right, $7. I don't know where else you're going to get more accurate pricing than that, because that's always the next iteration of how do I quote freight. That's how you quote freight. Hit up my friends over at Green Screens, you guys. But that is going to be it for today. I got to get back to work. I got freight moving today, ladies and gentlemen. We got guests coming on tomorrow and Friday. And yeah, you guys, we're just going to continue to bring this. We're going to continue to bring you guys tangible information that you can apply based on what I'm actually applying and what my guests are applying in their business. So as always, you guys, if you guys got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share it out there to your network, because if you see value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.